And very good morning to everybody. At least this morning up here in Cordova, Alaska. Make sure the door to the FBO is closed. It is. And our ride awaits. Already did the pre-flight walk around. Just came back to get the updated flight info. Hopefully this van doesn't hit me. It would be nice in this weather. It'd be nice if the van could pick me up and take me out to the airplane, but I guess not. All right. Don't know what the van is doing. That would be nice. A very, very nice feature in the sim is if they could drive you out to your airplane if you wanted to. Anyway, yeah, here we are again in the Dornier Seastar. And this is the very last leg of the adventure from the lower 48 up to Alaska. If you want to see the previous videos that led up to this, they are available in the channel. Part 1, Part 2, Part 3. And yeah, so very, very cool time to subscribe to the channel if you've liked what you've seen so far. And oh, there we go. And especially if you get something out of it, like learning something, wanting to know how certain things work in certain aircraft, because we fly all kinds of aircraft, not just airplanes going into and in and around Alaska to and from. So, as the patrons know, this is the last leg because they've had access to this video for these videos that are part of the series for a month now. So if you become a patron, you'll get these flights 1 month before it goes live to everybody on YouTube. And we might utilize the EFB today. It just depends. I know I promised everybody that the whole flight would be that the entire adventure from Washington State up to the last Anchorage would be in a amphibious aircraft because we like to take off or at least land one either departure or arriving airport in the water because it's fun to do. Well, I just looked and the sim does not simulate water freezing, but the aircraft might not work right. And today, in the real world, Lake Hood is closed because it's, but aircraft that are on skis, they are utilizing the runway, the water runway at Lake Hood. So, that's what's going on in the real world. Unfortunately, we can't do that. So, but we are going to be landing at Lake Hood. We're simply going to be landing on the runway. Runway is 2,200 feet long. Therefore, and you watch me turn this on as I explain why we won't be able to, why we're taking the Seastar on our very last flight. I wanted to go up there and arrive into Anchorage in the Grumman Albatross, but the runway, Lake Hood's runway, is simply not rated for an aircraft that's that heavy. The airplane empty is 26,000 pounds, and the runway, I believe, is only rated for aircraft to like 8,000. That's off the top of my head. But anyway, This aircraft, as most of you may know, for those of you who do not know, this aircraft, let me get the proper barometer into the altimeter here. The battery has an issue whereby if you turn the batteries on, the avionics come on automatically and the battery might die. So we need to get at least one engine up and running, and then we can continue programming we'll begin to program the flight computer. So what I do, yeah, I realize I can utilize this to get the altimeter real quick. Okay, 000, so there's no wind according to this. However, according to FlightAware, let's look at FlightAware. I have my app open. FlightAware in Cordova is, what are they saying about the weather? The weather in Cordova here is also saying, reading, saying 2967. Yep, very good. All right, we'll get the barrow set real quick. I'm just going to set standby real fast. 2967. And all the weather services said that it would be a very clear day to fly up to Anchorage. It'd be a beautiful flight. You'd be able to see Mount Whittier on the way into Johnson Point, going into Anchorage and all that. Well, not really. It doesn't look that way. Alright. There's the battery. Turn that on as well. And we will turn, and let's get our lights all set up. Emergency lights, armed, seat belts, no smoking, and then nav and beacon. We can test. Well, as you know, the lamp tests and things like that, they don't work. They're clickable, but they don't work. Alright, let's do engine number 2 before the battery goes bye-bye. So, pump on. Continuous ignition. Put the bleed on for that engine. And we need to advance the prompts to max for engine start. And we'll go to low idle. There we go. Make sure that the power levers are in, not in reverse. Good. Alright. For some odd reason, the map did not load. That's not fun. If it doesn't end up loading, we'll just have to utilize the map on the EFB. No problem. It's the first time I've ever seen it not load. Huh, interesting. Anyway, alright, let's go ahead and start up engine 2, aka the engine in the back. Watch the ICAS here on the left side of the PFD. There we go. The light off is right there. There we go. Looking pretty good. While that's doing that, let's quickly set up the transponder. Yeah, you know, the transponder is very finicky with this airplane. You gotta dial this up first. We'll just squawk. Whoa. We don't want that. 1200 is what we'll do. Well, it's a VFR flight, so 1200. And we're not flying out of that zone. So 1200. And mode will be set to the altitude reporting, just in case. Alright, that engine is stable. Very good. Now we can just run through the checklist, cockpit prep. We actually did all this in the pre-flight. Okay, yeah, all that's good. What we want to do is we want to get to the next checklist, which is the again, the lamp test does not function. Our test doesn't function. That we do, that is armed now. C mode dark it is. Yep. Prop leverage all the way forward. Cockpit prep. Flaps at 20. Okay, even though on those checklists the engines aren't running yet, we can do that though. ECS on our end so we can begin to warm up the cabin. Let's turn on the defog is required, as is the recirc fan. We're going to turn on the turn those temperature dials as far up as they'll go and get those pitot tubes nice and hot, as well as the windshield heat. We'll do the inertial separators. We'll get those turned on our taxi out. Yeah, the map is not loading. That is not. Huh. Don't know why. Do not know. I've never seen it do that before. Alright, everybody beginning to get warm. Cockpit's warming up. We're now to 9 degrees centigrade, which is still freezing, but not in the literal sense, but okay. Pitch trim between 50-60%. That's an interesting way to put it. I like to run it up to TO for takeoff. Alright, and the reason I do that, very, very simple. The reason I set that for the TO, I've left it within that 50 to 60% range, and what happens is you go to rotate, and the nose is, it acts like it's so nose heavy. So I set it the stab to TO. Anyway, rudder set to 0.5 right. Sorry, that just doesn't make sense to me. It's centerline thrust. You don't have asymmetric, so yeah, I don't get that. Okay, got it. FMS, we're getting there. Checklist complete before engine start. Let's see if we missed anything. Hydraulic emergency. It is showing 3,130. The weird thing is, if you turn the hydraulic pump to continuous, then the main hydraulic shows, it eventually will show 3,000 psi. Right there. And a little more. It'll eventually get to 3,000. But anyway, we'll just leave it on auto. You would think that with it on auto, it would keep it up to where it needs to be, but it does not. Okay, the engine is working nicely now. We can turn on the generator for it. and let the passengers, if there were any back in the cabin, utilize electronic devices by plugging it into USB ports and whatnot right over there. Alright. The cockpit is warming up nicely. Set that to middle. Alright. Checklist, nav, and beacon. Yep. Those are set. Engine start. This is always a little comical. So, okay, rear door. Yep, it is closed. Voltage. Then. Well, 24.6 volts on the battery. Both batteries, that's normal amperes, 58 millivolts off of number 1, of course, and no amps off of number 1 because that engine is not running. But on number 2, we got 28.5 volts and 130 amperes coming out the generator. That is normal. The barrow, where are we? 2960. I do hope that Microsoft and Asobo, they get rid of that blur effect whereby, you know, one number changed to another. It's not a quick change, it's a slow transition from like 9 to 8 to 7. And it's annoying. Alright, let's go through the systems again on the checklist and then we'll get going. Fuel pressure low, well, of course. Condition lever is low idle, and they both are. And this is simply what I just did. Yep. And prop is always all the way forward. When you start the aircraft, prop is always all the way forward. That goes for any turboprop that comes to my mind. King Airs, etc. The prop levers are always all the way forward. You can begin to manipulate them after you get in the air, and you have to set the appropriate power setting. Condition lever remaining on low idle, that is correct. Fuel left, pressure low, indication check out, engine modes, leaving run continuous, which it is. I leave it on continuous on flights like this whereby the weather is like this. Oil pressure, we'll go ahead and light off the other engine real quick. Continuous, so we gotta go left main, fuel pump, standby fuel pump on, mode to continuous, and start. Let's see what it's like outside. Almost there. And there we go. Engine is stabilized. Looking good. And the temperature inside is dropping. Okay, we'll leave it. We'll leave the temperature dials up. And if it doesn't, if you wanna simulate what can happen with regard to your inside temp, you can simply increase the blower 1, 2, 3, 4 but auto is fine. Alright, let's get the bleed on for engine 1. Generator, get that temporary Gen 1 volt high message on the iCaster. Alright, oil pressure is good. Ignition off above 50%. Is prop lever max. Well, that should really be before you start, but we won't go through that. After engine start, hours from CVR test. Well, it doesn't work. The test doesn't work. Fuel pumps on. Bleeds or as required. ECS. We can turn our inertial steps on now. And get those props hot. Well, the prop in the front. The prop in the back doesn't need to be heated. Why? The exhaust. The exhaust acts keep that number 2 engine, the number 2 engine's prop, very, very warm. It's like the Piaggio Avanti. Those props are not heated because the stacks are directly in front of the prop. Alright. Left and right windshield as required. Yeah, they're on. Prop E, though, it's on. Left ice probes, yep, those are on. Regardless, you always turn on your pitot heats. Sorry, probes, which I believe that also includes the static vent. ECS blowers are set to auto. We just talked about altimeters are set. Avionics, we're going to do that all right now. Flight controls, hydraulic pump set to auto, and nose wheel steering is dark, meaning it's on. All right, let's do the. We'll bring up the taxi checklist and type in the destination. Again, sorry that the sim is not showing a any kind of a map. I mean, it's supposed to. It's I do like that feature, vertical situational display for doing this flight that we're about to do. That comes in very handy. All right, destination is going to be. It's going to be not PANC, rather Papa Alpha Lima Hotel. That is the ICAO for Lake Hood. Let me just double check I got that right, because if you do this flight in SimBrief is going to tell you that PALH Papa Alpha Lima Hotel does not exist, when in all reality it does exist. I've been there more than once. Highly recommend you go and check it out if you ever get a chance in real life to go do it. Enter. Alright. Hopefully it got entered. It just acts like it isn't wanting to function quite right. Let's see if we can get that in. There we go. Alright. So it knows where we are. It knows where the terrain is. It simply doesn't display a map. That is frustrating. Let's turn terrain on. Oh, that's weird. Terrain it's not supposed to happen quite that way. Well, we won't go there. I'll just let it go. Let's see what this thing has to say. Oh, that's nice. Snow the whole way. Really? Oh, I see. Yeah, we'll break out of it. Oh, that's. I'll take that. So at least you'll be able to see turning an arm, possibly Mount Whittier going into Anchorage. Hopefully that'll work out. All right. Cool. Now let's. The cloud to ops are supposed to be 4,000. Sorry, 3,000. Not going by what the tablet would be saying about that in the tab. I checked it real world just moments before recording the video here for you, and the we should be good to go at 4,500 feet. We could do 4,000, but since we are flying technically flying westbound, we'll do 4,500. So let's get that in. And let's plug in the rest of the flight plan real quick. Departure, we're going to be departing runway 27, which is literally right behind us. We could utilize the EAC 6, but that's going to mess with the flight plan that I've already had put in. If we don't do it, because if we were to utilize that departure, we would not be able to see what we can see. Because this might be some of the best scenery of the entire journey from the lower 48. So we're going to go to JOH and then PAWR, which is Whittier. Let's see if it'll accept that. So let's go to JOH and then PAWR. Let's go. Oh, sorry. Let's just do this. Insert the runway. Activate it. Alright. Now. It isn't allowing it. Here's what we're going to do. Because there's one, and this is the one issue as we speak, when you have an AI generate your flight plan, it gives you a very, very different flight plan than what you would normally do. And the reason it did is because I said, hey, give me a really, really cool flight plan that'll give us the best visuals with regard to mountains and that kind of thing. And it did. But let's do this. We're going to type in where we are and where we are going. Let's see. PALH, it's supposed to recognize it here as well. Yep. That's it. Now, en route, we're going to JLH, I do believe. Oh, wait a minute. Runaway, we're going to fix that right now. Two 7 is the runway. Looks good, looks good. Alright. Now, waypoint, en route, not the facility, but JOH is the VOR. Add that. And what is the next one? It's going to be Whittier. That's what we can look off to the right of the aircraft, which will be north, and see Mount Whittier. Yeah, along the glacier, it should be pretty cool. So Papa Alpha W, Papa Alpha Whiskey Romeo. And something tells me it may not like it. Hopefully it just sees it as a okay. 15,000. Well, we're gonna be flying around it. And the next one. This is gonna be the entry to turning an arm. Alpha Quebec Yankee. Girdwood, yep, that is it. That is absolutely it. And then we should be Victor Papa T. I don't know if it's gonna. No. I mean, it wants to put in A6. We'll try Victor Papa Tango Mike. Distance 1,835 miles. Yeah, the AI bot, AI bot, got it wrong. That's not. We're supposed to be going to Potter Marsh after that. Well, they messed up on that one big time, didn't they? They really did. By that I mean Google Gemini. That generated a bad let me just ask you one thing here. How to enter. Oh, wait a minute. GPS. Let's see. Let me just ask you one little question and we'll be on our way. Ask it one question. It thinks VPPTM is over 1,000 nm away. Oh, it's a bug. It's thinking that it's alright. Okay, wait just a second. If this works, I'm going to be showing you something that I have not seen anybody else do on YouTube, period. And that is entering a GPS coordinate. Yeah. Let's see here. It claims that we can do it. Really? Okay. 6105 by 149 west. Really? 6105 north. Let's give it a shot. We're obviously going to get rid of that. That's ridiculous. We move the waypoint. So, sorry about this, everybody. This is what happens when you rely on AI. Alright. Let's just see if this... If it doesn't, I know my way around that area of Anchorage. It's outside of Anchorage. It's VFR. Hopefully the weather report is accurate for Anchorage. What was that again? 6105 north. Let's see if it works. 6105 north by... And yes, this is exactly how you're supposed to enter it. 14979 west. And that is what I thought. It wouldn't do it. Yeah, it just doesn't. It doesn't want to accept. Okay, there's one other way around this, and that is put a space between them. Yeah, that just isn't gonna work. Alright, that's fine. We'll do this. We will do this. We will do turn in. Yeah. We'll just do Lakehood right after turning an arm. We'll just do it that way. PALH is going to be it. And the approach is going to be runway direct change for runway 4. Yeah, things are going to be... No, that's the water runway. No. What is the, let's look at the weather real quick in Anchorage. What is the wind direction? The reason you don't look it up sooner is because the weather in Anchorage and all of Alaska really can change very quickly. I mean very, very quickly. Okay, let's see here. Winds are north at 7. We'll do, let's see here. Well, it'll be a crosswind, but direct is what you want. Yep. We need to get rid of this. 100%. Is it going to allow us to get rid of it? That's the question. All right. Did it do the job? I believe it did. Yeah, it just with a bizarre flight plan like this, this is the only way to do it. All right, activated. That is it. All right. Good, good, good. Okay, very good. Altitude. No. It'll be, supposed to be 4,500. Let's see if the AI bot got this one right, or if it didn't. We'll see. And our cruising speed will be, should be 230. And enter. Fuel is, what is the total here? The total is 2269. 2269 on the fuel. 2,269 pounds, which will make it a little heavy on the landing with regard to bringing the aircraft to a safe stop, because that runway, again, the runway up there at Lakewood is 2,200 feet long. And in typical Honeywell premise elite style, we've got to do at least one passenger, because if you don't, the system just doesn't like that. Cargo, alright, we'll say it's 150 pounds, roughly. Put that in there. It's about to compute. Very good. So for takeoff, the V speeds, yeah, I mean it's not going to be much different. So send the V speeds over to the the PFD. Very good. And descent is remaining. We'll just leave it on there because again, this flight is very, very short. All right, taxi lights coming on. Taxi lights on. Transponder set to TA. Well, it's set to ALT. Altitude reporting. Brakes. We're gonna get those checked here. Turn these parking brakes off. Okay, we need a roll check. Yep, brakes are good. Prop levers, feather, and then back. That's interesting. I mean, you're not going to get much of an effect if you do it with the engines at idle. I mean, anyway, alright. It just basically wants you to cycle the prop. Cycling the prop. I mean, you usually really want to do it when you have more horsepower going to the props so that those blades get a full cycle, feathered and unfeathered. So that's all on. Auto feather is armed. That's in the next. Okay, battery 13. Yep, looks good. Auto feather test arm. Well, there's no way to test it, but you can only arm it, so that part of the checklist doesn't line up. Strobe and lights when we get out there. Yeah, we'll do it. Nose wheel is gonna be up condition once we get out there. Very good. Okay, and then we'll be ready for the after takeoff once we get airborne. Okay, so we are good to go. We're going to be taxiing, doing a back taxi on runway 27. So we're going to go ahead and turn on strobes and landing lights. And everybody else is good to go. Alright. While we go out, heavy taxi, we'll turn on the flight director. And we will arm the, once we get out to the runway, we'll center up the heading bug. So that way we're looking right down the middle of the runway with the heading bug. And then we'll execute the navigational system. The navigation. Yeah, technically I am correct. The navigation system on the autopilot that way flies us to whatever that EAX. That's it. The EAX transition, and then onward to Johnson Point. So here we go. When we commence takeoff, what we're gonna avoid is what we're gonna see, but just you can avoid it. Well, just ignore it is what I meant. When you set takeoff thrust, same thing happens in the PC-24. And I'll do that flight again. A lot of people like that aircraft because not many people fly it. Setting takeoff thrust runs the generator up to a fairly high load. In other words, the generator kicks out a lot of electricity, and it gives you a warning. And it's a warning that can just be ignored. The issue has been reported to Microsoft Tech Support, and yeah, they say, well, it is a known issue, and it's in the queue for the dev team to look at it. So nothing much you can say. Unfortunately, you can kind of see the mountains. Let's get out here real quick. In the distance there to the southeast of us there. Beautiful, beautiful scenery. If the and again in the real world it says that the weather couldn't be better for sightseeing. So Microsoft, Asobo, you guys have a long way to go on the weather issue and keeping things in sync with the real world. The METAR meets up, but nothing else. All right, condition levers, high idle. You can hear them kicking in, and we don't even have takeoff thrust yet. But we do right about it. Let's go. Yeah, no takeoff. I have no idea what it. Boy, for no wind, for no wind at all, according to the METAR, we have a horrible wind that is just wants to turn the airplane into a balloon. My goodness. Yeah, they need to fix this. Don't know why they haven't. Wow. I'm trying everything in my power to keep it from Gear up. Flaps up. Nav armed. Yaw damper goes on. Flaps indicating up. That is a good thing. Let's see if we can capture the course needle. Alright. Autopilot is on, and we need to accelerate our climb here. See if we can get ourselves on the right track, making sure all of our anti-ice systems are on. Yes, they are. So we are in IMC conditions, very icy. Yeah, there's a little bit of ice building up on my window here on the left. After take on track, gear up, and drop levers, climb. Well, we're not there yet. Auto feather off. In every other aircraft I know of that has auto feather, you leave it turned on just in case you need it. Taxi lane lights off. Well, that's only if you're going to be above 10,000 feet. And now we are ready for the approach track when we get to that point. And it looks like 4,500 is not going to cut it. However, with regard to terrain, we will not be flying into any mountains given this course. The only issue that I can foresee would be near Mount Whittier. I believe that will, not the mountain itself, the pass where the glacier that we're going to fly over. I believe that is 7,500, something like that. Because when you take off out of Anchorage, in a airline aircraft like you've seen me do in the past, in a 777, the ATC, they vector you around, and then as soon as you're clear of terrain, then they vector you, radar vector you to Johnson Point, where we're flying to right now. And after Johnson Point is usually your exit and or transition out of the SID that you're flying out of Anchorage, and then you go from Johnson Point to whatever your first navigational fix is after that transition. And 4,500. I put 230 knots in the cruise, didn't I? Yeah, I do. back when I was programming it. my bad. I was thinking of. I was thinking this airplane could do 230. I forgot that. It doesn't. My apologies on that. I really thought it. I really thought I could do 230. Although we do have a lot of anti-ice systems up and running, and that does give us a little bit of a barrier on our speed. I don't see any precip. It's like, yeah. What I was just thinking, it looks like another 1,000 feet would do it. Let's do that. Let's do, although by just looking at that, 6,000 might be better. Let's just see what happens. If we do 6,000, if we hop up to 6,000 feet. Let's just see what happens. Engines are running just fine. The reason I don't have to bring the power back is because the anti-icing system is pulling so much heat out of the main engine compartment and redirecting it that it's giving us that type of performance. Excuse me. Now, there is some ice they're building up on the windshield. Not supposed to. That is not supposed to happen. We have windshield anti-ice on. We should not be icing over like that. Huh. I thought we would be breaking out of it by now. Oh, there we go. All of a sudden, the sim. You gotta love it. All of a sudden, the sim goes, okay, no more ice, and it just all disappears. Gotta love it. Okay, let's hop out to set. Well, what do you think? More like 8,000 feet to get up into that beautiful blue stuff? I think so. Alright, 8 grand, here we come. This is what you get for relying on AI. Oh no, 4,500 feet given the live weather. You should have beautiful views of Whittier and this and that. Oh, it'll be an absolutely gorgeous takeoff. No clouds whatsoever. Well, the AI could not have been more wrong. If you want to know what AI bot I was using, I was utilizing Google Gemini. So there you have it. Google Gemini, you're not always working. See if we can get the cabin in the back to warm up a little bit. And we're beginning to break out of the heavy stuff. We should, the view should, from here on out, according to the next radar, the view should be phenomenal. Coming over, turning an arm as we fly over the side of Cook Inlet. let's see what it looks like out there. Well, sorry, not much. Let's see what the onboard. Nothing. Nothing at all. Next we're at. Huh. Well, did not pick the perfect day to do this. And again, we can blame Google Gemini for that. It's oh, the flight will be beautiful, especially if you utilize this life plan. Not so. Not at all. And the cloud layer on the Flight Sim 2024 globe showed blue skies over southern Alaska, and that obviously isn't the case. We are getting tossed around up here. Building a little bit of ice up again. Can we get out of it? I mean, 8,000. Let's see here. Well, at this point, unfortunately, it doesn't matter if we were going to go up to 10,000 or even drop that down to 4,500. I just don't think the scenery would be visible. Let's give it a well. Let me look up the bases of the clouds here. Again, it was supposed to be clear. Yeah. let's see what AI has to say now. Oh, they're calling it. That's funny. I kind of. Alright, claims that the base is 2,000. Alright, let's just give it a. Let's give this a try. If it doesn't work, yell at Google Gemini, not me. It says to go down to 1,500 feet. Alrighty, we will do that. 1,500 it is. Looks like it's not all that off either. And it says everything should just be absolutely beautiful because, again, it's this here, the cloud layer you're flying through near Johnson Point is localized only. Yeah, well, we'll find out, won't we? Let's hop down to Johnson. Let's hop down to... Hop on down there. Let's go back on the power just a bit. Whoa, that was a wicked gust of wind right there. Wicked. Wicked, wicked. Oh, another one. It also said that, and if you look, it's not like it's gusting, you know, like 5 knots all the way up to 20 knots. No, it's like if you look at the anemometer down on the PFD, our wind hitting the aircraft off the left side at 7. Okay, now 4. I mean, with speeds like that, yeah, with wind speed like that, this would not be happening. So, yeah, they still have a long way to go on what when it comes out of aircraft systems. Let's see if we can actually do the 4,500, because if we, let's just see if we can do 4,500. Here we are. Let's see if this will work. There we go. More like it. That is the mess we were in. It's right back there. So there's the, look at that. Beautiful. We can get the engines breathing a little better. Turn off those inertial seps. I abbreviate that, inertial separator. And the prop ice off as well. Now, in the real world, when you turn that off, you'll get a boost in power, especially once those inertial separators are no longer closed. Okay, we can bring it back a little bit. We should get a bump in the ground speed, and then we can look back outside again. Alright. About 90 miles to go. Not bad. Looks like it looks like AI has failed us. There's no way we're gonna be able to get over that mountain range at our current altitude. Not even close. It's you'll get a beautiful view of Whittier and the glacier. Well, yeah, we'll get a beautiful view of it because we're going to be directly on top of it. Alright. Whatever. And the other bizarre thing is, I realize we're very, very far north in the northern hemisphere. And the shortest day of the year was just a little over 1 week ago. And so the angle of the sun is going to be off to the south. And I will say it does simulate that quite well. That's exactly where it would be. Alright. 190 knots indicated. That's basically what we're going to be doing here. Ground speed 197. Not too bad. I know a lot of people liked it when I flew the PC-24. From Juneau, was that Juneau to Yakutat? I think it was, yeah, Juneau to Yakutat. I believe that one was in the PC-24. Yeah. Now getting closer to these mountains, yeah, it's gonna be like whiplash here and there. just a little bumpy. Just a little bit. Let's look at the fuel situation. Yeah, they've got to fix the. That's just ridiculous. There is no way that we have burned that much fuel. I mean, no, sorry. It doesn't work that way. I mean, it's showing that we're burning 1 pound, basically, one pound of gas every 4 seconds. This aircraft just doesn't do that. I mean, if that's the case, then that means that the airplane has a range of only 300 nautical miles, and it doesn't. Even if you fly low like we are, yeah, with the max payload, this aircraft has a maximum range of 900 nautical miles. Not in this case, roughly it would end up being roughly 310, 325, 350, somewhere in that range. And again, the burn rate was no different up at 8,000 feet. So a lot of the aircraft that come with the sim have that issue. The King Air C90, I did a video on that one last month, I think. And it was showing a burn rate. It was just a ridiculous amount. I flew from Homer, Alaska up to Anchorage, which is a very short flight, and it was, I think I took off with three quarters of a tank on both wings, and when we landed in Anchorage, 27 minutes after that, it was showing, I think it was showing close to 1/4 of the tank, so they have a good ways to go. The PC-12 NGX does that. The PC-24 does it. The PC-24 is horrible on fuel economy. They really need to fix it. All right, things are going to get really bumpy now that we're flying over these. Hydraulic pump on. The negotiating with these mountains, however, will be very interesting. Let's grab the METAR for 3001. All this up. There comes my little puppy. Hi, buddy. How you do? How do you do, Abu? You may wonder, why did I call him Abu? Aviation research, and you'll guess why I named him Habu, Habu. Yeah, excuse me. whoever puts the right answer in the comment section below, why did he name his dog, his puppy, Habu? We'll do a special flight just for you if you get it right. How's that? Alright, all of a sudden the engines are on torque. Too much, we'll bring them back a little bit. Alright, let's look at that scenery and look at how we need to negotiate the terrain. A little close for comfort, but we're gonna make it. Obviously, we would never do this in the real world. This is for entertainment purposes only. Let's see here. We're gonna make it, or is it gonna be too closer? If we go to the right just a bit, we can, let's just get ready with that. And there, everyone, is the very, very tip, ending, whatever you want to call it, of a turning arm. The very first salmon, yeah, the very, very first salmon I ever, whoa. What in the world is it doing? Yikes. Headwinds are changing, but not the cross. The very first salmon I ever caught in real life, of course, a king salmon, was right over there on my way down to the Kenai Peninsula back in 1998. Very nice. Boy, well, I thought AI was really gonna screw us up. Nope, it's right on the line here. Let's change over to heading track mode right now. It's just that would definitely bring us right into the mountain. Let's go left, 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 left. Left, left, left. We want to go left, left, left. And then we'll pick up pick things up as soon as we get around these mountains. This is really the best way to do it. In fact, that's what we're going to do. We're just going to fly down, turning an arm here. Yeah, ground proximity warning is kicking on, but we're just enough to the left of the turret. Look at that. Wow. Having a very hard time maintaining altitude, and I don't maintain padding. I don't know why exactly. Hi, buddy. Yeah, I'm talking to my dog. Don't worry, I'm not talking to myself. How you doing, buddy? Okay. Yeah, go see mom. Okay. Whoa! Pretty wicked winds. Alright. See if you can actually see the road that goes down into the Kenai Peninsula out of Anchorage here. Boy, the autopilot is having a difficult time with this. The puppy has more energy than he knows what to do with. Let's go ahead and dial in our 2991 3001. Okay. 3001. And dial that in on the main barrel here. 3001. And the altimeter did not change whatsoever, which is a bit odd. The altimeter on the PFD should have changed big time. Let's see what happens on this one here. Oh, that's interesting. It only reacts to the standby PFD. That's weird. Not supposed to work that way, but alright, let's look at this here. There's the highway right there. Highway 1. There it is. same as I thought. Again, in real life, my very first king swing. Crow Creek, I think is the name. Right there, there's a parking spot. And as you can see, there's a little bit of a creek right out to the right wing, right there. That's it. That is where I saw my very first king salmon. Yep, that's it. That is it. Turning an arm. Unfortunately, the simulator doesn't simulate it with the way the tide works. This is the most unpredictable tide in the world. We were simply very lucky that we were driving past that area, and we noticed the water coming in, and a few locals are showing up with some fishing rods, so we figured, hey, why not? And I hooked one with a spoon. For those of you that are into fishing, I hooked one with a spoon, and a tourist from I don't know where, she decided to cast directly over my line, and I said, don't do anything, let me get the line out from underneath yours real quick. Well, she retrieved and her hook caught my line. She pulled on it because she just thought she should do it. And I'll let you figure out what happened and the kinds of words that were coming into my mind, but fortunately not out of my mouth. All right, for some odd reason, the autopilot cannot handle some very, very subtle changes to the wind. I don't get it. I need to go direct anyway, so let's stabilize this thing out. Anchorage is just right over here. Well, I was hoping that the weather was going to be as reported coming out of Cordova. It wasn't. I apologize for that, but AI, they just reconfirmed that I asked it again, what about the weather outside in Cordova and getting out of there. Oh, the National Weather Service reports clear skies and whatnot, and it's not wrong. The National Weather Service shows the snow to be non-existent. So, yeah, welcome to Alaska. Alright, well there's Anchorage off to our 2 o'clock. Alright. What is the, let's pull this up here. When I say let's pull this up, I mean on my tablet, temperature is -11 on the centigrade scale, so And it wants you to do it in Fahrenheit as well. Why they programmed it that way, I have no idea. Just no idea. Let's see here. That is 12 degrees Fahrenheit. Really? No, no, no. It's minus 11. Minus 12. Huh. I would have thought it was worse than that. Alright. Negative 12 minus. Let's go ahead and drop it down to 1,500. And go there right now. We need to go to our right to get lined up with that runway. And we need to go right, significantly to the right. We do not want to cross over Anchorage, arriving in the flying runways here, 7 left, 7 right. The amount of times flying into those runways. Alright, let's go right. Let's go right to 0, let's do 080. And then we'll come into Lakewood around out of the southeast. That's just the best way to do this. The runway did not load like it was supposed to. It was supposed to have loaded, and it did not. Continue going right here. That is Anchorage International, if you look close enough. The body of water just on the outside of the runway. That is Lakewood. Let's turn on our inner separators in the front heat. You just never know. Alright, this is where the fun ends with regard to the autopilot, because this is where we get to take over. Alright, where is that elusive runway? Might have to, that's what we'll do. We'll show you, I'm not even going to do the checklist because that checklist is just frustrating. Very, very frustrating. Bring those engines back. Slow it up. Alright. We're coming right off of the flaps 1, flaps 20. Gear down as well. Well, the windshield anti-ice system isn't working all that well, is it? No, it's not. Alright. 40 on the flaps. Man, why? There's the lake. There's the runway. Coming right over Anchorage. Drop right in here. They need to work on the runway. This is not fun. I meant the runway, the windshield. Not cool. Microsoft. Not cool. I can barely see I can barely see anything here. I mean, according to the computer, this is the runway, so. Go around. That does not look like a runway to me. Yeah, that is not. Let's get those flaps up to 20. So we fly slow, but we gotta find the runway. I don't see the runway anywhere. Do you? That is not a runway. Supposed to be a runway. Well, hate to do it. Let's just do a water landing. How about that? Alright? Let's just do a water landing and call it good. For those of you wanting to see a water landing, well, here you go. Landing gear up, and then we can do the C mode, and then figure this out as to why we don't see a runway. Sorry, Anchorage, for screwing up your traffic today, traffic pattern. Alright, we can drop it pretty quickly here. Bring flaps, let's bring those power levers back, slow it up, get everything trimmed out again. Now if that windshield wiper would work for us. No. Alright. AC mode. And thrusters are on. Well, this is embarrassing, but they don't have the runway, and there's no way we would be getting ice on the windshield. That really bugs me. I can't see anything. Golly, that is so frustrating. Well, they claim that the simulator does not simulate ice. I mean, lakes freezing over. That's that theory right here, right now. I can't see anything. Nothing. Anti-ice is on. Why it's porpoising, I don't know. Don't know. Here we go. Something tells me it did not go in reverse pitch. Now it is. It doesn't want to turn out of reverse. There we go. Well, everybody, there you go. Welcome to the many things that make it landing gear down. And that thing is like an ice cube. Ice on this thing is everywhere. Good night. Well, that is not what was supposed to happen. I apologize. The anti-ice systems obviously decided not to work anymore. And I couldn't see where I was going. So, apologies on that. Was this supposed to be an elk? Alright, there are not any elk. I don't know of any land animal that runs across water. That's interesting. Well, that arrival was very, very sloppy, but I couldn't see where I was going. So, I guess the animals out of the right of way. So that's yeah. Well, this is New Year's Eve. Well, look at the amount of ice on the amount of ice on the airplane. That is crazy. And it's just continuing to build up. Yeah, that's just boy, that is wild. Especially for landing in that much ice, landing in water in this condition. So, those are things that Microsoft needs to work on. The runway is missing. And I did check, by the way, in the real world today, the actual runway in Lakewood is open today, open for business. And they have one here, so, or at least I couldn't see it, one or the other. So we'll stop right here. We'll continue taxiing over to where we get out. Everybody have a wonderful New Year's Eve. Be safe, as always. And frequency change is approved. Might see you again in a couple of days with a video with a video that has an aircraft and scenery without any bugs. And again, thanks to our Patreon members for making this and soon to be very, very soon future videos possible. So be safe out there, and frequency change is approved. Have a good one.